Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the June 2025 edition of Epic Insight. This is Joe Corona, and I'm the Director of Sales and Strategic Partnerships at Epic Retirement Plan Services, and I will be your host for today's call. Working with business owners can be challenging and yet very lucrative. This is a space that is ripe with opportunity, but how do you embed yourself with business owners so that you're a trusted team member when that time occurs? With that in mind, we're excited to have joining us Brian Moore from Manulife John Hancock Investments to help introduce our host for today's session, Michael Latani. Before I turn it over to Brian, I want to remind you that your line will be muted throughout the call, but if you have any questions that you would like addressed at the end of the session, please enter them in the webinar control panel and we will address them at the end. With that, I will turn it over to Brian.
Great, thanks, Joe. And good afternoon, everyone. As Joe mentioned, my name is Brian Moore, and I'm a Director of National Accounts for the Retirement Investment Consulting Group at Manulife John Hancock Investments. And now you may have recently noticed the slight change to our brand, which really reflects the strong partnership between Manulife and John Hancock that began over 20 years ago. Over those past 2 decades, we've grown into one of the largest global financial institutions, managing close to $1 trillion across 5 continents and serving more than 19 million investors. And our success is really built on a robust multi-manager platform that leverages our extensive in-house capabilities of Manulife Investment Management, complemented by an unrivaled network of specialized asset managers. And we partner with some of the most esteemed asset managers in the business, such as Wellington, Boston Partners, Graham Capital Management, and Marathon, just to name a few. Each of them selected for their expertise in managing assets within their specialty. And this highly selective partnership approach, combined with our commitment to exclusivity and deep risk management, provides your clients with access to top-tier investment opportunities without the high multi-million-dollar minimums typically required. Additionally, we're vehicle agnostic, offering a diverse range of investment options, including separately managed accounts, private assets, actively managed ETFs, mutual funds, and CITs. And this flexibility really allows you to better assist your clients in achieving their financial goals. And that's the power that we offer at Manulife John Hancock Investments. So I appreciate everyone being able to join us today, we look forward to exploring how we can support you and your clients in the journey ahead. With that, I'm going to now turn it over to my colleague, Mike Latani, to present on how to more effectively engage with your business owner clients and prospects. Mike?
Thanks, Brian, and thanks, Joe, and thanks everyone for being here today. Good afternoon. My name is Mike Latani. I'm a retirement investment consultant with Manulife John Hancock Investments, also a certified exit planning advisor, and very excited to be here today to talk to you about how empowering business owner conversations and how leveraging the principles of exit planning can be a powerful catalyst for expanding your practice. At John Hancock, at Manulife John Hancock Investments, we believe this topic is so important that many of our associates here have received or will be getting the SEPA designation. In fact, in order to deliver this presentation today, we do require that the speakers have their SEPA designation. So why this topic? Well, you all know that liquidity events, when a business sells, is where a lot of the big money is today. And we want to provide value to those of you who may already be working with business owners in this space, as well as those of you who may be just getting started or who might be considering working with business owners. We know that a business owner's exit is not just a liquidity event, it's a wealth creation event, and if planned well, it transforms a business owner into a high net worth individual in need of services like wealth management, estate planning, and investment guidance, creating a huge opportunity for you to expand your client base, build long-term relationships with these business owners before their exit, positioning yourself as their go-to advisor for all of their financial needs, not just their company's retirement plan. And typically we find that business owners, many of them are misinformed about the exit planning process and what it can do for their business and their personal financial lives. And often they don't know where to get started. And what we've seen over the past several years is the integration of retirement plan advisory and wealth management services becoming more and more prevalent. Many of the largest firms traditionally focus on retirement plans have strategically expanded their services to include individual wealth management, leveraging their fiduciary expertise to broaden their services, increase their market share, diversify revenue streams, and offer more holistic financial solutions. As retirement plan advisors, you've already built successful practices, established long-term relationships with business owners, helping them plan for their employees' financial futures. So today we're going to explore sort of a natural extension of that trust and expertise, empowering you to have deeper conversations with these individuals and these business owners about their own financial futures, specifically as they approach a significant wealth event, the transition or exiting of their business. And we'll discuss how you, the financial professional, can become the business owner's most valued advisor. At Manulife John Hancock Investments, again, we recognize the importance of exit planning. So when we began developing the content and the resources on this topic, we partnered with the Exit Planning Institute, who's a leading authority in exit planning. They offer, as I mentioned, the professional designation program in exit planning, the Certified Exit Planning Advisor, or CEPA, and along with the in-depth resources that they offer to support CEPAs once they have the designation. In addition, their value acceleration methodology, which we'll discuss today, is considered to be one of the world's most accepted exit planning approaches. And most importantly to us, you'll see that the Exit Planning Institute puts you, the financial professional, front and center throughout the entire exit planning process. So now that you understand the sort of experts behind this program, let's talk about the size of the market for privately held businesses and the significant opportunities in front of all of you. You'll see here, based on the data from Corporate Value Metrics, we can divide this market into 3 segments, beginning with the micro market, those businesses with a sales range of less than 5 million, a lower mid-market, sales range between 5 and 100 million, and the upper mid-market and above with a sales range exceeding 100 million. And this is often where many of the larger investment banks play. But what we believe to be the sort of sweet spot for all of you is in that lower mid-market, which includes 390,000 companies across the country. Again, 5 to 100 million in revenue, which might even be some of the companies that you're targeting for retirement plans that you're working with. While they make up just 6.5% of all employer firms, they generate nearly 18% of total private business revenue, over $6.7 trillion. And despite their wealth, these businesses, again, are largely overlooked by the larger financial institutions, which opens the door for you to be proactive in offering planning and advisory services. And we often find that the advisors who step in before the business sells, not after, are the ones who will ultimately win that business. So now is really the time to build lasting relationships with these business owners who'll soon have potentially millions in investable assets. So now let's take a look at the opportunity in terms of demographics. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 51% of privately held companies are owned by baby boomers who are currently between the ages of 60 and 78. And by 2030, all baby boomers will be over 65 years old, which often triggers considerations of retirement, succession planning, and ultimately an exiting of the business. However, the average baby boomer doesn't actively think about these next phases until they're around 63 years old, which creates a crucial window of opportunity to begin proactively engaging with these business owners. So why does that matter? Because according to Dealware's M&A market survey of 2021, boomer businesses are rapidly coming to market for several reasons, including the health of the owner, age of the owner, the economic outlook. And we want you to already be there embedded with these business owners when they do that. But before this opportunity, it's not just about the baby boomers. In fact, 46% of privately held companies are owned by people between the ages of 37 and 58, predominantly Gen X, those individuals who tend to value work-life balances, saving money, investing appropriately, aligning strongly with a holistic wealth management approach that incorporates exit planning. So today we're going to show you why all these business owners are prime prospects for the methodology and conversations that we're going to share with you today. Another reason that we like working with the Exit Planning Institute is that they continuously do research. In Q4 2023, they conducted a national research study of over 1,800 business owners across the country, across many industries and geographies. And to kind of continue on that theme of money in motion, the research found that 48% of business owners plan to transition their business in the next 5 years, and an additional 26% plan to transition in the next 6 to 10 years, meaning a total of 74% of business owners plan to exit within the next 10 years, which creates a huge demand for our expertise and a tremendous amount of opportunities for you to position yourselves as that go-to advisor who can guide them through successful business transitions and help secure their long-term financial futures. And because conducting deep discovery with clients and prospects and developing a strategy is something that many of you are already, something that you already excel at, for business owners, 95% of them agree that having a transition strategy is important for their financial future. However, again, according to the survey, 58% of business owners have no written transition plan, 78% have no formal transition team, and 59% have no written third act. So there's clearly a disconnect, creating a huge opportunity for you as a financial advisor to help business owners create a transition plan, become their trusted advisor that's already embedded in their thinking when that liquidity event does occur. And the report also tells us that 80% of a business owner's net wealth is locked up in their business. So they have a significant net worth, often a great income, but they have very few investable assets for you to work with. So then the question is, how do you effectively advise them, build lasting relationships with them before the transition of wealth? In other words, how do you generate revenue for your own business in the meantime? In addition, 50% of business transitions in the US are involuntary, triggered by unforeseen circumstances, and 75% of owners regret selling their business after just 1 year, often because they have no real plan for their life after the business. And there's many reasons behind these findings. One of the things that we want to consider is that nationally, 70 to 80% of business transitions are unsuccessful, meaning that when they list for sale, they don't end up selling. And some of the reasons include the fact that when owners do decide to exit, they realize they haven't allowed themselves enough time to position their business for transition, doing things like minimizing taxes, maximizing net proceeds. Thus, they ultimately achieve a significantly lower net proceeds than they had expected. They're often unprepared for when an unplanned event affects them and forces them to exit when it's not on their own terms or their timeline. And alternatively, they're fortunate to receive an unsolicited offer from a buyer. However, their lack of readiness prevents them from harvesting the value of their business in either situation. Third, they're oftentimes unable to complete a sale of the business to a third party because the business is unable to pass the test of due diligence to complete the sale or even a partial sale to a third party. Private equity and strategic buyers are very seasoned and selective when looking at business they want to potentially buy. And then fourth, they often may be unaware that they have eliminated some of their inside options, such as a transition to a family member or to employees, because their business can't operate without them. It's potentially undercapitalized, has insufficient cash flow, or too much risk to succeed with an inside option. And there's many reasons behind some of these findings, because what we find is that every owner typically experiences three major challenges when it comes to exit planning. And the first challenge is that many business owners are unprepared. Often when owners decide to exit their business, they realize they haven't allowed themselves enough time to position their business for transition. Unfortunately, many business owners, while experts in their own industry, they're often misinformed or simply haven't considered investment planning required for a successful business transition and the subsequent management of their own personal wealth, and they may not even know where to begin. And while they realize that exit planning is important, remember 95% agree that it is, it's not urgent because they often think they have many more years before an exit, and therefore planning isn't an immediate priority. And as financial professionals and advisors specialized in exit planning, we can help educate these business owners on the immediate and long-term value of a well-structured plan, shifting their mindset from not urgent to absolutely essential. The second challenge is what I mentioned a few minutes ago. 50% of exits are involuntary, meaning 50% of businesses fail because of unintended consequences. The Exit Planning Institute refers to these factors as the 5 Ds, including divorce, disagreement, disability, distress, and death. And many business owners, they're unprepared, or when an unplanned event affects them, and it really forces them into an exit that's not on their own terms or their own timeline, and often leading to things like bankruptcy, layoffs, ultimately an unplanned exit as the business is forced to shut down or transfer at a price much less than what the business owner had wanted. And what's more is that 60% of business owners indicated through their research that they had no contingency plans in their company or in their personal lives. So think about the huge risk that they're taking on. The third challenge that we frequently encounter with these business owners is that they tend to focus on things like income generation. They're often focused on and not often focused on things like maximizing enterprise value of their business. Their focus is primarily on things like revenue and profitability, the immediate metrics, and they often overlook the importance of building long-term transferable enterprise value. And what isn't realized is that although the company makes a good income or profit, it doesn't necessarily translate directly to value. And most potential buyers of the business, they want a profitable company, but they also want to understand the how behind these profits. How sustainable are the revenue streams? How strong is the management team independent of the owner? And what are the inherent risks within the business? A business that's solely focused on the short-term income, they might have a decent profitability, but if it's not strategically building enterprise value, it'll likely command a lower multiple and ultimately a lower sale price, leaving cash on the table. And we as advisors can help them understand that the exit planning process, when done well, it may not only help them bring value today, but strategic value over the long term. A business that's focused on income alone, the enterprise value may not follow, and they may be leaving cash on the table, which is a fundamental principle in the exit planning process. So now that we've set the stage by highlighting the size of the market and the opportunity for you as advisors, along with the challenges that many business owners face, let's talk about what your role is in the exit planning process. And we'll begin by discussing how we define the exit planning process. We'll give you a high-level overview of the Exit Planning Institute's value acceleration methodology, which is the core of the SEPA program. And then we'll move on to conversation starters so that you can begin having those conversations with business owner clients and prospects. And we'll talk about the exit planning team. We'll share what that team should look like and identify most important team members. And we'll look at how you can assemble a team of professionals that you can introduce to your clients and prospects. And finally, we'll talk about some of the resources that we're making available to you today, and we'll leave you with some clear action steps. So let's first kind of dig into what the definition of exit planning is, value acceleration methodology, and you, the financial professional, what your role is within that methodology. So how do we define exit planning? I'll start by saying that exit planning, it's not just a liquidity event. The Exit Planning Institute, they define exit planning as a strategic process where the business owner prepares our company, themselves, and their stakeholders for the eventual transition of ownership. It creates a paradigm shift for business owners, viewing exit planning not as a distant event, but as an essential part of their current business strategy. It transforms exit planning from a reactive, last-minute decision into a strategic, value-enhancing process that benefits both the business and the owner. It's about helping the business owner turn a successful company into a significant company. Now, earlier I mentioned that 70 to 80% of business transitions are unsuccessful, and that many businesses sell for much less than what the business owner thought it was worth. And typically that's because their company, although very attractive, it wasn't ready to be sold because they don't have a company of significance. And again, a significant company is one that's highly valuable, ready, attractive, and transferable at any time. And because business owners tend to focus more on their business goals, while a significant company is one that aligns those business goals with both their personal and financial goals. And that's where you, as the advisor, can help them through strategic planning, ensuring that the business is not only profitable, but also aligns with the owner's long-term objectives. The Exit Planning Institute's three-legged stool is the core to any significant company. And in order to have a significant company and a fulfilling exit for the business owner, a fulfilling next phase of their life, and a strong personal financial strategy, a business owner must have all three legs aligned at all times. This is an organizing principle, again, of the value acceleration methodology. So now that we understand how the Exit Planning Institute defines exit planning, let's take a look at what the value acceleration methodology and process looks like. So I'm going to cover this at a high level. Again, the methodology here it's the core framework from the Exit Planning Institute, created to help both owners and advisors understand that the exit planning, it's simply a good business strategy. It's also the foundation of the SEPA designation, designed to help business owners enhance the value of their businesses, focusing on improving the operational and financial performance of the business to increase its market value while ensuring that the business owner's personal and financial goals are met, including wealth management, retirement planning, and preparing the owner for life after their business transition. It gives you, the advisor, a critical role in the years leading up to a successful exit. You'll be doing all sorts of things, including personal and financial planning, risk mitigation work, estate planning support, and family communication. And those are things that you can charge fees for. The process that they use is structured around a series of what they call gates or stages that guide the owner through the exit planning journey, beginning with the discovery gate. where you as a financial advisor can assess the current state of the business owner and identify the owner's goals, helping them articulate a post-exit aspirations and conducting initial financial planning, working alongside a value advisor to identify the wealth gap, which is the difference between their desired future net worth and their current projected net worth, excluding the value of the business. The value growth advisor, and again, I'll provide some more detail on who these people are in a few minutes. But the value advisor that you can bring to the table will also be doing the business valuation. They'll identify profit and value gaps and assess the business goals, create a prioritized action plan for the business. The prepare gate is where your ongoing engagement can become a significant revenue stream for you. It's by implementing the strategies to enhance business value and address any gaps. You'll focus on things like risk mitigation, insurance planning, comprehensive estate planning. Again, these are high value advisory services that you can generate fees in the years leading up to a potential liquidity event. And then finally, the decide gate. This is the pivotal point where the business owner, who's hopefully now equipped with a clear understanding of their personal and financial goals and a business that's strategically positioned for maximum value, this is where they'll make the informed decision. Do I keep growing or do I sell the business? Again, we covered this at a very high level, but hopefully you're taking away the fact that it's a well thought out, defined, or repeatable process, and the Exit Planning Institute puts you, the financial professional, front and center throughout the entire process, clearly defining your pivotal role in guiding the business. And you don't have to use the Exit Planning Institute's value acceleration methodology as your process. Here's another example or a sample process for business succession exit planning that we developed here at Manulife John Hancock Investments. The point is that whether you're using the Exit Planning Institute's value acceleration methodology or the one that we've created here, or come up with your own, the important thing is that you have a defined and repeatable process that you can use when we having these conversations with business owner clients or prospects. So now that you understand how you fit into the process, here's some good news. And national research that the Exit Planning Institute did in the fourth quarter of 2023 showed that today the financial professional is now the most trusted advisor to business owners. 27% of business owners selected you as their most trusted advisor. And it's because of this crucial role that you play in the exit planning process, your expertise in guidance, holistic planning, risk management, and value enhancement. Given the opportunity that we discussed and the size of the market, the demographics, and the money in motion, we think this number will continue to grow. So now that we have an understanding of the importance of exit planning, of the exit planning process, and the one that the Exit Planning Institute uses, let's move on to some of the conversation starters that can be had with the business owner to empower them to take action. Since the first gate is discover, let's take a look at some discovery conversation starters, because we know that conducting deep discovery with clients and prospects is something that many of you as financial professionals already excel at. However, when working with business owner clients, you may want to take those skills to the next level. And financial professionals like yourselves have an opportunity to sort of play the role of a quarterback, or to help kind of build an exit advisory team, build relationships with business owners so they're already embedded on that advisory team when the liquidity event when that liquidity event occurs. And it starts with having better conversations and asking the right questions, particularly to broaden your relationships beyond the corporate retirement plan that you may already be working with them on, and moving into personal wealth management needs as they approach their exit. So let's start with discovery questions surrounding the wealth gap, which is critically important. How does the value of their company play into their future plan? Earlier, I shared that 75% of business owners regret exiting their business after just 1 year, and typically it's because they haven't done the work and the planning to help them create a life after their business. These questions here are sort of vision oriented. They're just the beginning of you going deep with the business owner to help them create their personal financial plan, envision what their life looks like post exit, and help them manage their emotional state alongside the technical side of exit planning. Going back to the discovery gate, gaining a deep understanding of the business owner's goals and aspirations, exploring the wealth gap, asking questions like, do they know how much money they currently take out of the business? How much they personally spend each year? Have they had a valuation of their company? In addition to these, you can ask some questions to expand upon your current retirement-focused services to their broader exit strategy and personal wealth management. As we continue to partner on the success of your company's retirement plan and for your employees, have you started thinking about what your retirement timeline looks like? The key takeaway for you is, as retirement plan advisors, you already have a trusted relationship with these business owners. These conversation starters provide sort of a natural way to broaden that relationship, explore their long-term personal financial goals in the context of their business, and position yourself as a valuable resource, not just for their company's retirement plan. The next set of questions here begins the conversations around exit planning and the future of the company. It's all about trying to uncover how much they've thought through the exit planning process, exit options, and their role, as well as family members' roles in the business. These are, again, vision-oriented questions and are just the beginning of delving into the exit planning. Questions such as, who's your ideal buyer? Do you need your company to remain profitable for it to transition? At what age do you think you'd be ready to sell your business? How strong is your executive team? Could they run the company without you? As we discussed earlier, one of the most important things a financial professional can do to help cement their role is as the quarterback for the exit planning process is to bring a team of advisors to the table. So we're going to talk about who that team is in a few more minutes. But remember that 78% of business owners haven't formed an advisory team, which creates opportunities for you. And this set of questions here will help you begin having real conversations with the business owners about their current team, where there might be any gaps, if their current advisors will be members of the exit planning advisory team, or whether they need to add any new advisors with the exit planning experience. Who's your most valued advisor and trusted advisor or advisors? And is there anyone there that represents the personal side of things for you? Do you involve your advisory team in strategic planning? Have you or the advisory team spent any time in exit planning? And do you understand what's next and what your options might look like? And then the last set of discovery questions on managing offers creates a way for you to help business owners envision what would happen if someone were to offer to buy their business today. Are they even ready? Do they know what a fair offer looks like? Do they know what a fair offer is for a best-in-class company within their industry? Do they know if they would be even seen as a best-in-class company? So these are questions that'll help them start to realize that exit planning is business strategy. They'll begin to understand through these questions that if they want to achieve the most optimal exit, engaging with you and with the exit planning process can help them do that. So if you had an offer today and it was a good offer, are you and your company ready for that? Do you know how buyers look at companies like yours? Have you shared what your exit plans are with other key employees of your business? And what are the ideal terms of a deal if you were to sell to a third party? So now let's talk about that team that we briefly discussed, building an exceptional team of professionals in exit planning that you can help bring to the table. And it really starts by understanding who has a seat at that table. To help to support the owner through the exit planning process, part of your role, again, might be to build that team of professionals, including legal, tax, business experts, ensuring that all aspects of the transition are covered. And the core team consists of you as a quarterback, the central point person of the exit planning process. I briefly mentioned the value advisor on the last slide. This is an individual who will likely be your closest strategic partner, a specialist in business growth, turnarounds, and M&A. And then beyond this core group, other specialists who might be needed, including things like an estate planning attorney for legacy planning, M&A advisor or investment banker to help with deal structuring, valuation, and negotiation, a family enterprise advisor or coach to navigate the intergenerational dynamics of a business transition, a leadership coach to ensure that the business can thrive independently post the owner's departure. And the key message here is that you have a central leadership role. You're not just one advisor among many. You're sort of the orchestrator who brings these specialized skills together to help serve the business owner's best interests. So let's focus on, for the purpose of this presentation, on what we believe are the three most important members of the team. Although we know that according to the current research, the financial professional is considered the most trusted advisor to the business owner. Again, 27% of owners ranked you as the most trusted advisor. There's still a lot of work to do and a lot of opportunity for you to prove your value. And in order to do that, as I mentioned earlier, you want to have an exit planning process and methodology that you commit to. Again, whether it's the Exit Planning Institute or another version of that, it's up to you. You just need to have a process and methodology in place. And second, you want to understand what your role is within the process. We just went over this a few minutes ago, and where you can add value throughout the relationship. And as part of that, you want to have the services that you're delivering in the internal process in your practice to support these services and be able to effectively communicate that value to the business owners. And third, you want to have a highly experienced team of other professional advisors that you can bring to the table, an experienced network of those advisors, which is also important. And all this will enable you to become, again, that quarterback embedded with the business owner when the liquidity event happens, and hopefully you'll be able to remain on that team long after the exit, managing the proceeds of the business for them and their family. So now let's talk a little bit more about who the value advisor is, or the value growth advisor. This will likely, again, be your closest partner in the process. Many of these individuals have owned and successfully exited their own businesses, or have maybe come from corporate backgrounds where they focus on value creation, maximizing the business's enterprise value over a 2 to 5 year period. These individuals are often CEPAs themselves, will often adopt some or all the value acceleration methodology. Typically, they'll combine it or sort of create their own approach to value companies. Oftentimes, these individuals will have gone through potentially another designation program, such as a certified value growth advisor, or CVGA, through the corporate value metrics. The value growth advisors help the business owner grow the value of the business and unlocking the wealth that's trapped in the business. Remember, we talked about the fact that most owners are just focused on the income and the business generating, that the business is generating versus the actual value of their business. More, easily defined as, what would a buyer be willing to pay for the business at any given time? The value growth advisor will assess the business goals of the owner throughout the exit planning process, acting as a project manager to do things like, working side by side with you as a financial professional, assessing their personal and financial goals. While you're doing those things, the value advisor is conducting the triggering event, or the enterprise valuation assessment, business valuation, to identify the value of their business, and also what it could be worth if they were to be operating in a best-in-class level for their industry. The value advisors will stress to business owners that they have to protect the value of their business and eliminate the risk of involuntary exiting of that business. And you can help create play a huge role in part of that de-risking. The value advisors also work on building the value of the business with the business owner, helping them to get to a place where they can be a best-in-class, get to a best-in-class multiple for their business. And I'll discuss that in a little more detail in the next slide. They'll also develop a scorecard, which shows the impact from implementing business actions that'll help drive up the value of their business. They'll develop a plan with action steps and milestones that everyone can be held accountable to, and they'll also help to harvest the value of their business when a decision is made to exit, by working with you to bring exit options to the table. And to help with the process, the Exit Planning Institute also defines 4 tangible capitals that are critical for building a significant company. These tangible capitals, intangible capitals, represent the non-physical assets that contribute to a business's value and transferability. They include the human capital, which is the value of the talent in a company, measuring the strength of the people and their ability to execute tasks. And your role can be to help sort of identify any gaps in talent, recommend strategies for recruitment, training, retention, really to ensure that the business can operate independently of the owner. Customer capital is the measure of the strength of the relationships with the company's best customers. How strong, deep, and long-term are your customer relationships? Here you can help by reducing customer concentration risks, making the business more attractive to potential buyers. Structural capital is the back-end infrastructure of the company, including the strength of the business's strategies, their systems, processes, the capital and financial structure. It's also the documented know-how and know-what of the company, and we can help by optimizing and documenting the processes, ensuring that they're efficient and transferable. And then finally, social capital measures the strength of the company's culture, blending the human, customer, and structural capital to create sort of a cohesive and thriving environment. Are employees and potential customers drawn to your company and culture? is your company culture transferable to a new owner? And then finally, a CPA. As many of you know, the CPA is often very close to the owner in the business. It's likely most business owners, that it's likely that they already have a strong CPA. This individual can be significant to the owner ideally, and you'd want them to have some sort of exit planning experience in order for them to really fit into the collaborative exit planning team that you're building. Sometimes you can find these exit planning oriented CPAs within a larger CPA firm where they're part of the valuation or M&A and transaction advisory services group within that CPA firm, and ideally they might also have the CIPA designation. Their role in the exit planning process is to work alongside the value advisor. There's likely action steps that are needed for them to mitigate risks inside of the business, provide insights on valuation, exit options, and value creation, and we'll have a good understanding of the financial performance while being in tune to the financial statements of the company. And the CPA can also provide valuable insights to the financial professional and estate planning attorney as the business's net profits and the eventual net proceeds from the sale of the company and the overall income needs of the owner. So how do we find the right people for your team? Start by with the relationships that you already have with individuals like CPAs and attorneys, and view them through the lens of exit planning. What's their experience, their firm's experience? Check their websites, their LinkedIn profiles, and maybe even interview them to see what their experience is in exit planning. As you're interviewing them in different advisors, make sure that you have a good understanding of what their background is, their experience, the process they employ, the resources they have available, their capacity to take on new clients, and what their fee structure might look like. We also encourage you to visit the Exit Planning Institute's public website and leverage the Find a CIPA function to identify advisors that might have a CIPA designation, whether it's a value growth advisor, CPA, investment banker, attorneys, and then you want to vet them the same way, again, through their website, LinkedIn, interviewing them. Also consider joining one of the Exit Planning Institute's chapters if there is one near you. There's around 30 of these across the country, and they can be found on the EPI website as well. This could be a great place to start to help meet some of those other exit planning professionals with to help, again, build that network. So I know we covered a lot at a high level in a short amount of time today. The size of the market, the opportunity, statistics on business owners, and some of the challenges they face, what exit planning is. We introduced the value acceleration methodology and the role that you play in the process. So now let's talk about some of the resources that we have available for you. Starting with the resources that you can leverage from the Exit Planning Institute. So as you consider expanding your services to include exit planning and wealth management for business owners that are nearing a transition, the Exit Planning Institute offers credentials that I mentioned, the CIPA designation. They offer courses, conferences, content, and a community to build your knowledge, advance your practice, and really further your relationship with the business owner. They provide monthly content releases, education, and networking opportunities through their nationwide chapter network I mentioned. The Exit Planning Summit, their annual meeting, is the world's largest conference focused on exit planning. And the EPI Academy allows you and your teams and the business owner themselves to learn more about the exit planning process through introductory and advanced learning options that are available. And for those of you who don't choose to take the step to become a CIPA, there's even more resources. I'm sorry, who do choose to become a CIPA, there's even more resources available. The content that you see here on this slide is exclusively available for CIPAs through the EPI Member Center. The content portal houses hundreds of items used to educate, market, and develop more business owner, prospect more business owner clients for yourself. Includes research, webinars, advanced learning, and they're up there. And any new research that they make available, and any business assessment tools. And keep in mind that if you want to leverage any of this content with the business owners and clients and prospects, you'll need to have any of that content approved, I'd imagine, by your firm as well. And now for some of the resources that we have available through Manulife John Hancock Investments to help support your efforts when engaging with business owners. We offer additional resources supporting you, including a white paper that covers in detail the process underlying the value acceleration methodology we discussed. And to help you with the conversation starters that we shared, we offer additional questions that are available in the guide that we have titled the Guide to Exit Planning Conversations. We also have a couple of additional worksheets and checklists to use with business owners and clients and prospects to help you navigate those discover and prepare gates that we discussed. And then finally, we offer a client-approved one-page flyer that outlines the value acceleration methodology that can be shared with business owner clients and prospects. And before we wrap it up, I want to leave you with some action steps. 4 key action steps that you can take as you begin to expand your services to include exit planning. As we discussed, having a defined, repeatable process for serving business owners is critical. Again, whether it's using the value acceleration methodology from the Exit Planning Institute or the one that we offered that we can make available as well, or one that you come up with on your own, is having a process in place is critical as you begin to engage with these business owner clients. Second, you'll need to build and expand your network to include exit planning professionals, most importantly, those value advisors or value growth advisors, CPAs, attorneys, any of the other individuals I mentioned, as you, again, quarterback that team, building the team of professionals to bring to the table as you're having these discussions. Third, be ready to explain what your process is, how you serve your business owner clients and the team that you bring to the table. And this will really help to build that trust and demonstrate that you have a comprehensive approach to addressing their unique needs beyond just a retirement plan. And then finally, reach out to your partners here at Manulife John Hancock Investments. We can hopefully help you support you and your business when it comes to working with business owner clients and provide any of the other valuable resources that we have available to help you effectively target this market. And I want to leave you with a quote from Chris Snyder. Chris Snyder is the CEO of the Exit Planning Institute. Value is the new word for exit. It's the one thing that could make all the difference. Focusing on value drives all other positive outcomes, moving beyond being a wealth manager, becoming a wealth creator. So I hope that we kind of showed you today some of the possibilities for both you and your business owner clients and for your practice. And again, I want to thank you for your time today, and we'll follow up with some of the material that we discussed, any of the resources that we have available, direct you to where you can find some of that content from the Exit Planning Institute's website.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike and Brian. We're now going to open the floor up for a few minutes of questions. So if you do have something that you would like to run by us, please enter it into the question panel now. One question, Mike, that I wanted to pose to you is, many of us work with small businesses, and many of these small businesses are family-run businesses where you have multi-generations either within the business or potentially in line to own the business. From the Exit Planning Institute, are there any additional challenges that being a family-run business or family-owned business pose that might be unique and different than a traditional business with with no family members possibly within the employee group?
Yeah, there's certainly, I mentioned having a discussion about the intergenerational dynamics of a business and having those conversations with who might take over a business. But I think, there's an assumption that many businesses will kind of be passed on to a member of the family, a child, or whoever it might be. The EPI's research says that 60 to 70% of businesses will actually pass on to a third party rather than pass on to an heir or a family member. And it's really 9 to 10% of companies that actually do end up considering a family member. So again, the assumption is that someone in the family will take over the business, but the reality is that a high percentage of those businesses are actually passed on to a third party.
Okay, great. Now, I apologize if I missed this during the session. There was a lot of great content, but one question that I know was posed to me leading into this session is how early in a process should an advisor start talking to their business owner about what their exit strategy is? Is there, are we talking a year out, 2 years out, 5 years out? Is there kind of a recommendation that the Institute has for how early those conversations should start?
Yeah, the recommendation from the Exit Planning Institute is 2 to 5 years. But I think the challenge is that, we mentioned the high percentage of businesses that exit due to unforeseen circumstances. They're potentially exiting earlier than they anticipated. So really having the conversation as early as possible to have a process in place in the event that it should occur, that an exit should occur unexpectedly. But in general, they would say 2 to 5 years to really help build that enterprise value that we discussed.
And I know one of the trusted partners that you referenced in the presentation was having a good quality CPA involved at all phases and aspects of any type of transition, obviously not only from a tax perspective, but also not only a tax perspective for the individual selling or exiting the business, but also for the one acquiring it. And to the point that you even made, that may even be beneficial to have multiple CPAs involved to really kind of dot the I's and cross the T's to make sure that there is no stone left unturned, to make sure that the transaction is processed and completed properly, and obviously the biggest value is created for the business owner client.
Yeah, they would also recommend that is having multiple individuals within your network, whether it's multiple CPAs, attorneys, additional individuals that can help as you're building that network, bringing these individuals to the table. But having more than one in some cases is recommended from them as well.
Absolutely. And now one last thing that I wanted to mention, and I know you mentioned it, Mike, throughout the session, is obviously the advisors and that are on the phone work in the retirement plan space, and that's always a key part of these exit planning conversations as well. Is what do you do with that retirement plan that is in place today? Is it a plan that the new business owner is going to be assuming and obviously carry on, or is it going to be a matter of the original plan is going to terminate and then potentially a new plan be put in place? And obviously there's some parameters related to that. So always want to make sure that you keep in mind that there are impacts and effects to the retirement plan whenever you do have a business owner exiting and a change of ownership taking place within an organization.
Absolutely, I'd agree.
All right, so it doesn't look like we have any additional questions. So with that, we would like to thank Mike and Brian and you for joining us for this Epic Insight webinar. As a reminder, we will be sending out a copy of today's presentation as a follow-up. And as always, please do not hesitate to contact us if there's anything that Epic Retirement Plan Services or our partners at Manulife John Hancock Investments can do to support you in your efforts. We thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again on our next edition of Epic Insight.